Here's your wrestling news for June 21st, 2022, and your headlines for today include: Vince McMahon makes another WWE appearance. What did he say on Raw? Jim Cornette shares idea for biggest fucking pay-per-view if Vince goes for good. Elias returns to WWE Raw after 10-month absence, reunites with his brother. Major changes confirmed for Money in the Bank, original title match plans scrapped. WWE Hall of Famer to undergo partial amputations. John Laurinaitis placed on administrative leave, future looks bleak for the former Raw GM. More bad news for Tammy Sytch in ongoing legal battle. Bryan Danielson's status for AEW New Japan Pro Wrestling Forbidden Door remains unclear, and more. We're kicking off today with Monday Night Raw, which saw another appearance by Vince McMahon. The former WWE CEO appeared during last week's SmackDown, his first public outing since stepping down from his many roles with the company, and rather than address the allegations against him, merely welcomed fans to the show. On Raw, McMahon had a similarly strange appearance, as he once again didn't discuss the alleged affair and $3 million hush money payout, and instead, he repeated what he said on SmackDown. Reminding fans of the tagline then, now, forever, together, McMahon again welcomed fans to the show, though did add that a huge return is coming next week, namely John Cena. It was yet another bizarre appearance by McMahon, who is keeping himself in the spotlight despite the allegations against him, and we'll have to see what he has to say should he show up on this Friday's SmackDown. The allegations against McMahon are arguably the biggest threat the billionaire promoter has faced in decades and could see him lose his role as CEO and chairman of the company permanently. McMahon losing his role for good with WWE would be the biggest story in decades, but it may not be the last we see of him. On the latest episode of the Drive-Thru podcast, Jim Cornette weighed in on McMahon's situation and said that no matter what, fans haven't seen the last of Vinnie Mac. In what world would anybody not want, no matter how this turns out, Vince McMahon on television one more time to say whatever the fuck he wants to say? They can advertise that on pay-per-view, especially if they said, "Hey Vince, guess what? We're taking the company away from you and you can't come back, but we'll do a pay-per-view and you can say anything you want." That would be the biggest fucking pay-per-view they could possibly do. It's worth stating that many in WWE believe that McMahon will survive this scandal and will return to his role as CEO, but that John Laurinaitis won't be as lucky. We can only imagine what McMahon will have to say, on TV or not, if he does lose his company to this investigation. But with Vince getting massive responses during his two-appearance post-investigation announcement, Cornette is right to say that the controversial ex-chairman is still a draw. Raw also saw the long-awaited return of Elias, who appeared for the first time in 10 months on the Red brand. The feud between Ezekiel and Kevin Owens has been a highlight of Raw since the post-WrestleMania 38 episode, and while some have argued that this angle is beneath the man who faced Stone Cold Steve Austin, Owens has done a fantastic job in this role. WWE did an equally brilliant job with Elias' return this week, keeping him and Ezekiel together on screen, but apart simultaneously, and it was the former 24/7 champion who got the last laugh, beating down a still unconvinced KO. We'll admit we're sure not sure what the end of this angle will be, as either Owens will finally get his redemption or continue to be trolled by everyone around him. Either way, Owens, Ezekiel, and Elias all did fantastic during the latter's return this week, and the angle still has a lot of love with the audience. On July 2nd, WWE will host their annual Money in the Bank event, often considered the fifth big premium live event due to the two titular ladder matches. This week's show saw the build towards Money in the Bank 2022 continue, with several changes made to the show. Bianca Belair appeared on Raw to announce that Rhea Ripley has not been medically cleared to compete, and it was later determined that Carmella will take Ripley's place and challenge the EST for the Raw Women's Championship at Money in the Bank. Bobby Lashley won a gauntlet match to earn a shot at the United States Champion Theory, while in the main event, Asuka got one step closer to becoming a two-time Miss Money in the Bank, qualifying with a victory over Becky Lynch. WWE has got just one episode of Raw left and two of SmackDown before Money in the Bank, but there's still plenty of time to build towards this year's unique show. We got some sad news to report now, as WWE Hall of Famer superstar Billy Graham is set to undergo partial amputations on his body. A former WWF champion, Graham broke the news over Facebook, saying that an infection in his foot has made it necessary for surgeons to partially amputate some of his toes. Graham added that he will be away from social media for a few weeks due to this, as he'd like to spend his entire focus on his recovery. Graham may be best known by fans today for his controversial comments on social media, but this is no doubt a scary time for him, and we're wishing him the best upon his upcoming surgery. Back to Raw, as plenty of big names appeared during the show, but one name who wasn't around is John Laurinaitis. PW Insider is reporting that Laurinaitis was not backstage at the tapings in Lincoln, Nebraska, despite usually being at all televised shows as head of talent relations. This marks the second show in a row Laurinaitis has been absent from after missing last Friday's SmackDown. In an update, WWE announced that Laurinaitis has been placed on administrative leave, and a memo sent around WWE has confirmed that Bruce Pritchard will be taking over as interim head of talent relations. Like Vince McMahon, Laurinaitis' name was also brought up in the now infamous Wall Street Journal article, as it's claimed McMahon passed on the paralegal it's alleged he was sleeping with to Laurinaitis. While McMahon has been appearing on TV, a sign that he's not going anywhere, Johnny Ace has been nowhere to be seen, and the future doesn't look good for the former Raw and SmackDown general manager. We've got an update in the Tammy Sytch case now, as the WWE Hall of Famer is continuing to face a DUI manslaughter charge that could lead to her spending decades behind bars. This latest update isn't from Sytch, but rather her lawyer, who is looking to get as far away from this case as humanly possible. As first reported by PW Insider, Sytch's lawyer, Stephen Delaroche, has filed a motion requesting he be allowed to withdraw himself from being Sytch's legal counsel going forward. In this motion, Delaroche cited several reasons for his request to be withdrawn, claiming that Sytch has not complied with the terms of employment between them and has said it is now impossible for them to work together in the future. Sytch has pled not guilty to the DUI manslaughter charge, claiming a medical condition is what killed driver Julian Lasseter at the time of the three-vehicle collision, but her legal counsel wanting to leave is not a good sign for the controversial former WWF diva. And we're ending today with AEW and New Japan, who will team up this weekend to host their Forbidden Door crossover event, which will unfortunately go on ahead without some major names. Kenny Omega, CM Punk, and Kazuchika Okada are all set to miss the show, and there's been a lot of questions about the status of Bryan Danielson. One of the most popular stars in AEW, Danielson is conspicuous by his absence on the Forbidden Door card, though he has been out with an injury in recent weeks. Speaking on the latest Wrestling Observer Radio, Meltzer said that Danielson's medical status is still unclear, despite Zack Sabre Jr. calling him out at the recent Dominion event. Given Bryan's history of injuries, the last thing AEW want to do is rush his recovery and bring him back too soon, but we'll hopefully have a clearer picture after Danielson addresses the fans on tomorrow night's AEW Dynamite. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.